Hey there, Brandon here, and welcome to another episode of Stack and Scale. And by the end of the video today, you are going to be a GTM engineer, or at least be able to do GT engineering type things and hopefully impress some people. And of course, we're going to be using AI to help us do this. What we're actually going to be doing is exploring Clay's Sculptor product, and I've had a chance to play around with it a little bit. It came out a few months ago. I played around with it a little bit then, and I know it's gotten a lot better, and I use it every here and there a little bit. But really today, it's a follow-on from last week where we built the Clay table that took web intent, so website visitors. We enriched the company, we found our ICP, and then we used AI to create personalized relevant outreach. Then we launched those campaigns. And whenever I post these Clay builds, they quickly become my top posts. And of course, last week, it was my second most popular, most read post behind the first one was a Clay table, and in front of another one, which is also another Clay table. And I always get questions of, hey, can you do this for me? Or how long did it take you to learn how to do this? Now, of course, I went through and learned a lot of this before Sculptor came out, and now you can do a lot of these things within Sculptor itself. Again, Sculptor is the AI co-pilot that is built right inside of Clay that you can interact with to help you build these really cool Clay tables. And now I will say that even though this is an extremely helpful tool, this shouldn't replace your, your penchant for going out and actually learning this stuff. Because still, a lot of time, like Sculptor is not perfect, and you will have to be able to go in there and troubleshoot, or go in there and tweak things, and figure out how to give better outputs. And I think although this is a really cool tool, it should just be a supplement, but it can get you up and going with Clay really quickly, really easily. So what I did today, I built a Clay table from start to finish using Sculptor. I've never done that before, so I'll show you what I built, and then we're going to go back to the beginning and build a few Clay tables ourselves. So let's just jump into the one that I built earlier today, 100% using Sculptor. Right, so it is a content gap finder so that we can create really good content that is underserved in specific industries. So the only thing that I did here is import these industries, and then I opened up Sculptor here, and then you can actually see the long chat that I had with it. All right, that's the beginning. Yeah, and you can see that me going back and forth, or I mean, mostly it's me typing a prompt in, and then it comes up with the table itself. I import it. Now, of course, when you import these things, you want to go in here and you want to just go and check and just make sure that everything's correct here, and then test and output, which is why I only did this with 5 rows. And of course, whenever I'm testing these things, I always have a row that I know the answers to so that I can really figure out, is it giving me the outputs, the quality that I want it to? And then I'll go in there and I'll edit it, I'll tweak it, I'll change a little bit. But here, all of this is untouched. It's pure output from Sculptor. So it shows you the power of Sculptor itself. So here in this first one, it's just, okay, take the industry and summarize it. And then you can see the prompt that it created. And then you can see how many tokens. So it's only 0.2 tokens because it's using, I think it's 4.1 mini. Yeah, 4.1 mini. And of course, you can go in here and change it too and add any other or tweak the prompt itself. But then the output that you get itself here is an industry summary. Now, just to keep the table clean, I didn't import, or I didn't pull that into the table itself, because as you'll see in the next steps here, the table can become very messy and you can get overwhelmed with all the information that you pull into the table. Anyway, okay, so the second one is, okay, let's look at the top pain points for that industry. So I said top 5, I think I say, yeah, top 5 pain points for the industry. And then here are the outputs of that. So the pain itself, the area that it impacts, a short description, and a suggested action. And then it has that same thing for all 5 pain points. And again, I can pull this into this table, but just to keep it clean, I didn't. And then I'm going to map that pain point to a metric or to an actual KPI. And again, here's the actual prompt that it created based off of just the input that I gave it over here. And then you can see the response. So KPIs. So the name of the KPI, MQL to SQL conversion rate. That's the pain. Here's the second one, et cetera, et cetera. So you get the idea. And I said, okay, what is a buying event, a trigger event for each of these? Of course, it's going to give me that. I think this is doing a pretty good job. And yeah, the other thing too, you might do if it doesn't give you a great or the most ideal output, what you're looking for, aside from tweaking the prompt itself, and you can actually go in and use use their AI. I was trying to figure out, wait, where to go. Use the AI to help you generate this prompt. So instead of Sculptor, you could go in here and use the AI here too. So that's pretty good. But anyway, you can actually change the model. So if you want reasoning or you want one of these other models, you want 5, the only thing to know, obviously, is the different token costs associated with those models. So anyway, and then it got all the way to here without me having to do anything. And the last thing that I wanted to do was put all of this into a Google Doc so that then I could take this and I could take it over, bring it into something like in AirOps and do some cool content ops and create some content workflows and workbooks off of the content that, or the research that my Clay table is doing right here. But it couldn't, I tried it a few times. It really couldn't get the markup language right, nor could it really pull in everything. I was trying to get it to pull in everything and map it to the pain points. So I went in here and I ended up doing the markup language myself and saying, okay, pain point 1, and I just mapped it and then you do the backslash, and then you go in and you select whatever you're looking to do, and then you pull that in there. But anyway, so I ended up doing that myself. This is kind of where in this table, Sculptor was a bit limited. So I'm not going to save those changes. And then I just had it create, again, that Google Doc so that now I can take this and maybe I take this and do, again, AirOps, ChatGPT, content creation duel of choices. I know Claude is a popular one, obviously. And then this is what the output looks like, but it is pretty blank because I only did those first few things here. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. Now let's go over to Sculptor and start building something from scratch. So if we just go back home and we go up here, this is going to be Sculptor. It's right here, front and center when you go to your home. And maybe we start with something simple. Let's just build a list. Okay, you're looking to find companies, individuals, and do you have any specific criteria in mind? Yeah, let's go. I would like to find CMOs at computer software companies in California, and the companies should be between 1,000 and 5,000 employees. Please start off by giving me only 10 results. And then it'll do its thing, it'll give me a preview, and then I'll just hit accept. And then it'll start the actual table itself. And then from there, we can start building on top of the table. Okay, so yep, here we go. And again, I chose CMOs at software companies in California because I know the answers to these. And yeah, it looks like I know a lot of these people. Yeah, Sarah and Maria and let's see who else. Oh, Scott Holden, obviously. So anyway, looks great. Looks right. I can hit continue and it'll import it right into this new workbook here. Great. And then now it's even got suggested actions for me next. I can enrich the person. Summarize their LinkedIn, find their work email, get professional posts as well. So why don't we just... Okay, I'm going to do all these except work email because I don't want to use all the credits, but I'll show you exactly how this works. So this is obviously pretty easy, pretty standard. of what Clay does. So here it is going to, oh, yep, it did all of that already. And then now what I can also do, oh, now it's getting its posts. And then now what I could do here is come in here and say, I want to find technographic data for all of the companies. And then again, you hit enter, it does its thing. Sometimes it takes between, it says it usually takes between 10 and 30 seconds. And it usually doesn't take any longer than that. I feel like that's pretty accurate. So it does it relatively quickly. And then it'll always give you the option to, look at it, and then you can import it. And after you import, not import it, add it. So here we're adding the technographic waterfall. And then over here, before you actually run it, you can go in here and configure. You could do run settings and say only run if they're in California, or what we already said California, but they have a certain amount of open job recs or something like that. Or you could come up here and configure this and say, you know what, I don't want similar web because that's going to cost a lot, and I can move these around because I think predict leads is a lot better for my industry, that sort of thing, which would not be the case here. Anyway, so you get the idea, basic idea of Sculptor, and you can do a lot of these pretty basic things. But what I want to do is actually build another table here. So let's go back to the beginning, and this one's going to be a little bit more complex and a little bit beyond just what you generally think of what you use Clay for. I'm kind of rambling and mumbling a little bit there, but anyway, so let's go back to the beginning, and let's type in here our prompt. And actually I came up with a few prompts over here. So what the first thing that I want to build is hiring trend insights for our target accounts. So here are all of the prompts that I put together, and we're just going to throw these in. And of course, I'm going to share with you, share this whole document with you so you can copy and paste, or you can make some edits to this and try to build something very similar. But let's go through this and see how Sculptor ends up doing here. Okay, so the first thing that is, okay, got to attach my CSV file. So I hit attach there. I actually have it down here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it in, and now it's going to go do its thing. And here I just have one, because again, I don't want to use too many credits, and I relatively know the answer to the questions here, so I can double check to make sure that it's right. Okay, so that's the first thing. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Now I want to enrich, so nothing too crazy here yet, but let's just run a quick enrich. And the other thing that I'll say too, as we're kind of waiting for this to run, is in the beginning, I tried to have it do too many things. And obviously this goes back to one of those things that I say all the time. But you really gotta, deconstruct, I couldn't think of the word, deconstruct what you're trying to do and only do one thing at a time. Because at first I would try to have it create multiple rows at once and try to have it do multiple things at once, and it really wasn't giving me great outputs. And I mean, it couldn't even do it. Sometimes it would give me two of these, so you would say add, and then would go on to the next one, and you get add another column. But I've learned that, yeah, you really need to be doing these one-off. No surprise though, right? Because we talk about this all the time. Okay, so now we pull this over, and what we're doing is enriching the company. And then again, I can come over here and I can say, man, maybe I don't really care about Owler, and maybe I want, People Data Labs to be a little bit higher up here. Okay, hit this. Let's run this. And then we're good. And we'll let that do its thing. We'll close the waterfall. And then, yeah, usually I like to, this is just me, but I like to color code the two things that I'm importing. And then I don't know, it probably really doesn't matter at all. Anyway, okay. now that it's doing its thing, let's look at the next piece of our prompt. So now we want to start looking at hiring trends. And here I'm calling in Claygent. I want you specifically to use Claygent. Now here I am actually having it output multiple things. The number of open roles. So what I'm having it do is find open roles and hiring trends over the last 12 months for GTM roles only, and then analyze the trends and classify each company and to see if they're in expansion mode, if they're in steady growth, efficient mode, if they might be consolidating or they're just frozen. And then here I am telling it what I want the output to be. So the output should be a number for the roles and a percentage increase in the hiring trend and a classification based off of what I just gave it here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to paste it right. Oh yeah, I already added that. Okay. So I'm going to paste it right in here and I'll let it do its thing and it'll think for a minute and it'll come back and it'll give me something, that I can review and see how good it is. All right, I feel like we need some Jeopardy music here, right? But I do like how it's telling you there on the left the actual process that it's going through, so you can see the reasoning behind it. And then another thing too that I'll say for Sculptor that I've noticed is you really can't give it too much. The optimal kind of characters that it's gonna take in, my just gut feel is probably around like 500 or less. So in a lot of my like ChatGPT prompts, they're pretty big prompts because I'm trying to give it so much context and I'm giving it so many different things to make sure I've got the proper output or the best output. I'm telling it its role and what the output I want it to be and examples and that sort of thing. All of that still is good, but really the context window here is a bit smaller. Okay, so let's see what we got back here. Let's set this up. So it's using Aragon, so it's not their most expensive model, but it's not their cheapest either. I'm good with going with that one just for the sake of the demo here because I'm only going to use it on one row. Looks like, okay, the objective instructions. Filters. Okay, so yeah, let's see here. It's defining GTM roles. Great. Openings, 12-month hiring trends. And then here's my classification that I just asked it to do. Okay, good. Yeah. So all of that, I'm going to hit save and I'm going to hit run on this one row. And then now we're using Claygent, again, another one of their AI. So it's Clay's AI agent that goes out and it's web scraping and research tool. So it's going out and trying to answer those questions that I just asked it. How many open roles in GTM? What's the hiring trend? And then classify the company itself. I will give that a minute. And sometimes I've noticed that Claygent does actually take a little bit longer. So if you use Claygent a bunch, and of course, the higher models and the more complex tasks you're going to give it, the longer it's going to take. So it might take a little bit longer than that, 10 to 30 seconds that Sculptor usually takes. But we'll give it a second here. We'll see what it comes back with, and if I need to, I'll just I'll cut some of the dead space out here. So let's wait and see what we get. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that did actually take a bit of time because I literally just watched half of overtime of the Jets Canadians hockey game right now. Okay, let's see what it came back with. Okay. Very good. Confidence medium. Okay. Very good. And again, if I wanted to as well, I can pull these columns into this table here, but for the sake right now, I'm not going to do it. Okay, the next one here, recommended outreach angles. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste this down here. Now this time I'm not asking it to use Claygent, so we'll see what it ends up coming back with. My guess is it'll end up coming back with ChatGPT or probably ChatGPT, one of the what do you call it? GPT 4.1 models would be my guess, 4.1 mini. But let's see what it ends up coming back with. And we'll see how long this takes, and maybe I'll watch the shootout of this game right now while we wait for this one to finish. Okay, that didn't take long at all because they only got through one shooter. And outreach. Okay, let's see what this looks like. So, yep, again, 4.1 mini. Okay, yeah, this all looks good. Let's hit run. And then while that is running, we'll actually come to this last one here. Now, I tried this last one earlier, and it was having a lot of trouble with it. So I had to add a lot of extra context for how I wanted it to be scored. So that's why this is a little bit longer of a prompt here, but it handles it just fine. Again, I was playing around with it earlier. Okay, so here's my response here. Let's see the different angles. Cool, I like that. Very good. And then, yeah, again, the last step of this table is this. Let's hit go on that, and then we'll see what it comes back with. Okay, that one did take a little bit longer. I got through 3 shooters in the shootout here. Looks like it's the end of the shootout. Okay, cool. Let's see. I came up with a formula. Opportunity score 100. All right, so that, again, now there's a lot of other things that we could do with this too. Standard things that you would think to use Clay for, like, okay, now let's find the right person at this company to reach out to, and let's start to create some personalized, relevant outreach using AI to reach out to them. And then again, we can use one of our outreach tools, whether we integrate that with an outreach, a Sales Loft, or right into HubSpot's sequencer, or again, we could use Clay's native sequencer. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to do too is give you this last one. Now, maybe I'll just let you know that it's here and that I tested it and it works really well, because we're already at the, it's on the longer side of our videos here. So I'll just leave this with you so that you can go try and test this out. So this one is another little less conventional way to use Clay. So I wanted to just give you some other ideas for how to use Clay, and then go in there, follow the same things where for the setup, we just go in there and we just put that prompt right into this text window here. And then you will need to, in this case, come up with, just open up a new Google Sheet. And then for this one, I tell it I'm going to give you title, industry, and company size. So what you would need to go do then is, oh wait, what, sorry, this should be persona, industry, and company size. So what we'll go do is persona, industry, company size, put a few companies that, again, you know the answer to. So VP of demand gen, industry, computers, software, company size, say like, and then now all you need to do is download this as a CSV. And then when you're copying this prompt here into here, the next step is it's going to ask you, okay, now import this CSV. Once it imports the CSV, now you can go through these prompts here in order, just drop them in to Sculptor, see what it comes out with, see if you need to refine it at all, and then insert it right in and go to the next one until you have your full, in this case, demand gen offer testing toolkit. So anyway, hope this was all helpful. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I would love to hear some of the cool Clay tables that you build. Share them with me, share them on social. Give me some, feel free to ask me for some feedback on them as well. Anyway, hope this was all helpful, and I'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Cheers.